Today we say goodbye to a beloved animal on the Stivers homestead. Man, has anyone else had like extremely fallish weather right now? I think I am loving it because the sun's still shining. We've gotten a lot of rain, which around this time, early August in Kentucky, it's dry bones around here. But we spiked really early with like 100-degree temps like 3 weeks in a row. And now like today it's 76 with a low in the low 60s, high 50s. Peppers don't love it, but it's been a nice little break and I am soaking it in because you can be outside and enjoy it. And the garden is popping pretty well. Some things are taken over by weeds, but I want to show you all some of that stuff. Maybe I should note from that teaser at the beginning, I am showing you the garden, but I'm basically just waiting for some folks to get here because they're the ones that are going to get the animals. And I thought, you know, y'all have seen some of the garden, but you haven't really got to see a lot of it in a while. Everything's been crazy about the move. We've had so much info that we wanted to share with you all. We've been working in the garden a lot. We just haven't shown it. So you get to see that while we wait on our friends to show up. The ducks are still in the backyard doing an awesome job. We have lost a couple more squash plants, but the fact that we've had squash bugs for over a month now and we have anything living is impressive. They actually even get up in my zinnias in here, and they haven't disrupted the zinnias, but they're getting the weeds out and they're getting all the bugs, and they're just doing a great job. They haven't ate one plant. I know a lot of people had concern and said that their ducks eat their plants, but ours have just been awesome backyard little animals. And just for reference, that dirty water, I changed it this morning. Jed changed it the night before. It's one of those things with ducks. Don't expect to have clear water for very long. They like to get in it and really make a mess, but they have a good time doing it. So here is the tilled bed, if you can see it in between the weeds, but look y'all. We've got lemon squash still growing. This plant is super healthy. We've lost that one, which was the first one, and this one's on its way out. But that's the only ones that are truly dying. And look at here, we got pumpkins. So this is a Connecticut field squash, which like I said, is mainly just a normal pumpkin that you would find in a pumpkin patch. And we have another one right there, but you know what? The weeds are the weeds, whatever it is. We're managing as best we can. And here was another little volunteer velvet sunset. I'm pretty sure they're actually called velvet queens, but they look so much like a beautiful sunset. I call them velvet sunset. That should be a name change because it definitely looks like a sunset over a queen. So Jen had her first dahlia open. She has them growing in this little container, and they've been a very slow grower, but we had our first one open up. The tomatillos, they're on their way out. We enjoyed growing these, but the setup just did not work. Obviously there's weeds in there too, but they just fall over. This would be perfect to use a tomato cage for. A lot of people are haters against tomato cages, but that's just because they're not the greatest for tomatoes. They're awesome for things that grow big bushy and need support, like tomatillos, like peppers, stuff that the fruit has a lot of weight to it and pulls those plants down, and it can hang on to those tomato cages. So next year, wherever we end up, if we want to grow tomatillos again, what I'll probably do is build some kind of fencing circle to put around them so they can go through and have support to hold themselves up. Because the tobacco sticks and tying didn't work. But they're really good to grow, and they are prolific, and they grow a lot of tomatillos. So it was pretty cool to do. It was a nice lesson learned for this year. This is by far one of our more successful beds, and it's definitely our peppers. So we got peppers just absolutely everywhere in here. Look at all these jalapenos just growing like crazy. We've got all kinds of habanadas, and these are sugar rush peppers. Then you get over here and you see our poblanos that are growing really nice and healthy. Banana peppers everywhere dangling. These okra, man, I did not think that I could grow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a 3 by 6 foot bed, and they be doing so well, and they are doing absolutely fantastic. We get so much okra off of them. It's been really cool. So okra can be grown in a small area. They grow more up. They don't have a huge bushing out to where they take up and, you know, kill out the other ones. As you can tell, some are doing better than others, but they're all just doing absolutely fantastic. The tomato wall that we've come to call this is doing really good. Most all of the plants are really healthy. This is 100% the way I'm going to grow tomatoes, with this single cattle panel and just alternating the plants back and forth on each side. It has worked good. The plants have stayed healthy. I haven't had a humidity issue that's going on here. And I'm really doing basic trimming. I trimmed down on the bottom so we can have nice airflow there. And then minimal on top. You just keep tying to the cattle panels, and I have a complete wall of tomatoes. So on this side, our tiger melons and our honeydew have decided that they want to go this way and that way and this way and every way, but really up. We've been taking them up and we would put them back, but you get to a point in gardening and through the season, you're like, you know what? Do your thing, vines, do your thing. Just give me some melons. And we have plenty of them. So here's a tiger. There's some more down there. And then over here, we have this beautiful honeydew that is about ready. And this way is the way we did our tomatoes last year. We have our cherries in this bed, and then we've got the Bonnie's Best in that bed. This way is still a very successful way of working. The only thing is you have to be a little bit more on your time. Where the cattle panels, the tomatoes themselves will kind of grow in and out and weave itself. You still have to tie them, but they also help you out a little bit, where here, it's all you. You're the one that has to tie them to the tobacco sticks. But for a nice, cheap, easy DIY way to be able to grow your tomatoes, this way is super successful. The cattle, lordy day, the pallet trellises that we have our cucumbers on are still doing good. They're kind of doing the same thing. They're going up, they're going down and around and all that. So we're just kind of letting it do its thing. It's starting to get a little disease from cucumber beetles, which if you're not sure what those are, cucumber beetles look like a very pretty little ladybug. And if you're not familiar, you'll be like, oh, I got ladybugs. Yes, when? Unfortunately, it's completely wrong. If they have a yellow body, with the black spots, that's probably a cucumber beetle, and it's a little more elongated. It's not as round, and they will eat your cucumbers, hence their name. So they have started to do that, but that's the one thing we noticed with these Beet Alphas. Last year when we grew them, they're so strong and resistant. Even though they might start eating some of the leaves, they will keep growing and keep producing, and that's what these do. That's one of the big reasons we love them so much, is because they are able to just fight off the bugs. They're like, eat my leaves, I don't care. I'll keep producing new and keep growing. So another huge win for the Beet Alphas. And we only grew 5 total plants. And I feel like we have as many cucumbers as we did last year when we did like 200 jars of pickles. So just keep it in mind. I know we keep preaching Beet Alphas and everybody is starting to slowly come on board. It's the only cucumber you need, y'all. Look at this. Can't even get through my walkway. Daggone melons. Now for the biggest experiment of 2020 was this tomato bed. And I think our guests are here, so hold on to that. It is time to say goodbye to our rabbits. Yep, we are gonna let them go, all besides Peppy, and we have an awesome family that's here that's gonna get them. So we're about to pack them up. Okay, the rabbits are gone besides Peppy, our main and first buck that we got. He's truly our pet, so he gets to stay. So let's talk about this expansion garden, which was a big experiment real quick. So first thing, this soil can grow the tomatoes. They are growing big. I haven't pruned one thing, and they are doing absolutely fantastic, and they are growing like crazy. Yeah, so this soil is great for growing tomatoes. They are above my head in height, so over 6 foot tall tomato plants, and it's been extremely successful. Couple issues. One, we knew was gonna be an issue, but it hasn't been a total deal breaker. It's not fenced in here, so it's free range to deer, rabbits, all that good stuff. So we have to be very much on it and get the tomatoes as soon as they start blushing, or they're just gonna get ate all to pieces. The second piece was, it's definitely got some soil issues a little bit. We had a lot of blossom end rot at the beginning, so we have conquered that now. But we had a lot of blossom end rot, usually low on nitrogen or different aspects in there that causes that. Oh, hello. Literally just found this, and I'm gonna show y'all. I literally just looked over and look at him. It's war back here now, boys and girls. Look at you, you son of a gun. Tomato hornworm. If you're not familiar with them, around here in Kentucky, we call them tobacco worms because everybody was tobacco farmers, and this would eat your tobacco. Well, they also really love tomatoes. It is the most notorious eater of tomatoes and killer of all of your plants. So there he is, folks. They're meaty looking too. I mean, they got their teeth all showing and everything. Can you get a good shot of them? They look wild. I mean, they're just a wild animal. All right, so tomato hornworms. If you watch any homesteaders besides just us, you have heard about these guys. The best way to catch them, unless you're just lucky enough and you see them in the broad daylight, they like to hide into your tomatoes. So you really get to see them a lot at night. You can use a black light to find them, or you can just get really lucky and find them like that. So there's a lot here, I'm sure. That's the thing. You just can't see them that easily. Well, this is like completely debunked my thing over here because I wanted to talk to y'all about this bed. But this is something that it had nothing to do with anything. The problem is I either need to keep them contained to this area or I need to get them all because they will quickly go right behind me into our fenced in area where our actual bed is because you can't stop them by a fence. Dang it. Who's ready to see the most satisfying thing ever? T-Bag. T-Bag. No, don't try to fight me. Here, I'll give it to you then. Get him, girls. So no joke, when my great-grandfather used to raise tobacco around these parts, I was a baby, I was little. I was like getting to where I could walk, and then I got a little bit older, and then he kind of tampered off on it a little bit. But the most I remember is being young, elementary school age, and my uncles and cousins, they would throw them, thanks T-Bird, they would throw them daggone tobacco worms at me and just stick to me, and this is the worst, and they would splatter, and I don't know, I guess just if you raise up in the barn hanging tobacco, and here they come slinging at you. And you know, at the time, you just didn't realize how big of a deal that was, but they could have literally killed my great-grandfather's, all of his crops. And here we are just slinging them around at each other. Man, terrifying time in my life. Well, now that that's out of the way, overall, what I'm trying to get at is running a fence line like you normally would, a fence, 4-foot fence with T-posts down a line with some weed barrier on the bottom, till up fresh land, put that weed barrier down because fresh land is definitely gonna grow a lot of weeds, and grow tomatoes underneath of it. Success. Just gotta watch for blossom end rot, make sure you do that, and you know, we could have easily fenced that in to keep the animals out of there, and the hornworms, you can't do much besides pick them, hand pick them. Like I said, do it at night with a black light. It's really good success. There's all kinds of videos on it. Our good friends, Jess and Maya at Roots and Refuge, I know they have at least 2 videos of them actively doing blacklight searching. So go check that out if you're interested or if you come across it. But they will completely take down a tomato plant in one day, all of it, and they'll eat it all. And the last thing to remember, there's never just one. There's always a lot. Okay, so you got to see a little bit of the garden, a lot of stuff that you haven't got to see in a while. I know I've showed the sunflowers like a million times because I love them. And you got to see the corn, but you haven't got to see everything. A lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of ugly. I'm pretty sure there is a, what is it called? Collaboration, thank you. That is going on for that. I'll try to find that main playlist and throw it down there just so y'all can have it because we technically did a good, bad, ugly. But you know, the hornworms threw me for a daggone loop. That's the fun part about filming before you go out in your garden, because then you get to see surprises with us, and so that was fun. But we did want to talk about a couple last things before we wrap it up, because we always do like to give a little bit of a move update. From our last video, we got a lot of comments about the PayPal pool that is out there. So, make a long story short, our amazing friend Evelyn went to set up a fundraiser on the Christian site Give, Send, Go that we had discussed before, because a lot of people don't like GoFundMe because they take a cut. Totally understand.
Big cut.
Big cut. Give, Send, Go doesn't. They take donations to where you can like pay it forward. If you donate some of your profits that you receive, that goes back to them and they donate it to another thing that's going on. Pretty cool, right? So it's got an amazing, Christian center, but their technology is bad. And I've been talking actually to their tech people because it's kind of what I do with websites. We thought we had it set up. We released it live. No one could donate. And I even tried because we were seeing it, it's telling me you can't do it live or something. It was silly. Anyways, we had to quickly take that down. The only other thing that we knew that didn't take money was a PayPal pool. So that is separate than our private PayPal. It allows you all to donate and actually see the amount that's in there and see the goal. So another quick few things. I haven't figured out a way to move my private PayPal to the PayPal pool.
Which is where we got a lot of the original donations. Thank you all so much.
Yes. So
we're updating you on that. The last time we talked, I think
two videos before, we said we would update in each video.
Yeah.
And then we moved this way, so we forgot in the last one, to be honest with you. So the total ended up being, I think, in the private, around 11 to 1,200. Now, people are still donating to that one. I don't know if it's because maybe they just really want to be private or whatever it is. Perfectly fine, and we thank you all for that. So that's not reflecting in the pool amount. And this is the last thing that we wanted this to happen, is to get complicated and cause any kind of frustration, because that is not what we want. And if it continues, we'll just pull it down and it'll be fine, and we'll just move to whatever. But the PayPal pool is now starting, and it looks like it's starting from nothing. But we wanted to make sure that we were transparent. There was about 1,200 that was gained in our private PayPal. Yeah. So the PayPal pool is fresh. Anybody can see it. It's going to be linked down below if you're ever interested to see what has been raised. Now, just add 1,200 to that, and that's around the total that we have received in blessings. Another thing we want to address: the goal is set for 30,000. That number, it was like the most, we don't know what to put in there. We don't know what to put in there, and we don't want to feel like we're trying to take advantage of anything. We have 10% down. That's going to be around the $25,000 to $30,000 range. We have about 6 or 7 that we have raised, and that's growing every day. And then there's also plenty of moving expenses. We are not asking you all to pay for those things. We are not asking you all to pay for a penny of it. We decided to move. My mom decided to move. Whether y'all gave us a penny, we would figure it out. So please don't look at that number and think, oh, well, they're being greedy. Because if it's shut down right now, and we will happily do so if that makes it better and there's none of that there, we will. Because the last thing we wanted was to have this be a stressful part of the situation, because everything's stressful enough. So please, if you feel uncomfortable, just don't donate. We're just trying to make sure that the people that are wanting to, they have an easy way to do so, and it's because they want to, not because we're asking. So just please keep that in mind. If you see anything that seems off guard, we're not trying to do anything under the rug. We're probably being more transparent than most people would even advise us to be. Yeah. So I hope that cleared some of the mud. We're fine. We just really wanted to make sure that we answered some of those questions. All right, so now that that's out of the way, chin your nails over here.
I got a hangnail.
Oh, you got a hangnail. That's never good. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to the great friends that took the rabbits today. Like I said, we got rid of 8 and we kept Peppy. They're all going to be to an awesome home. He's shown us all their bills that they did for their new place, and it's going to be fertilizer for their garden. So they're not going to be, well, at least immediately turned into meat rabbits. They didn't tell us that. I don't think he'd put so much effort into the house he built if they were going to turn meat rabbits.
I think they're going to have a very good home.
Yeah, I agree. And he even set it out outside his wife's office window, so while she's working she can watch the rabbits, which I thought was a very heartfelt thing that I love to see husbands do. So that was really cool. But yeah, so the first downsizing of the homestead, the hornworm attack, and
on PayPal.
Yeah. Yep. All right, y'all. Well, I think this is it. who knows what tomorrow's going to hold.
And also, thank you again to those that have donated and those
Yes.
that can't, and you're just praying for us. It means the world to us, and it really makes all the difference in this situation.
It really does.
Because ultimately, it's all out of our control. It's in God's hands, and that's all we can hope for.
That's right. Like the video we mentioned a while ago, he has got his hand on our shoulders and walking with us, not necessarily telling us where to go.
Yes.
So, you know, that's what we have in our mind, and we're just with the road with him. All right, y'all. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't.
All right, we love y'all.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.